Okay, let's talk about expanding pairs of brackets. Now, this one might seem a little more daunting, but it's not too bad, as long as you don't lose yourself in the process. Let's tackle it like we did before using the distributive law. We'll show it graphically first. So I will represent it with my good old area, and I've got one side, one set of brackets, A plus B, shown along one side of my rectangle, and I have my C plus D representing the other side. Now, for each of these 4 separate sections, I can work out what the area of those sections will be by looking at the measurements, basically. This is length A, and it's being multiplied by a width of C. And this one's A and D, B and D over here, and B and C here. And I can actually put that all together then into my answer for my expression up the top, and it will be AC plus BC plus AD plus BD. Okay, so that's great, but I don't really want to be drawing this rectangle in my book all the time. So what does this distributive law look like if I just want to write it without the graphical part? Well, let me show you. Here we have another one of these pairs of brackets to be expanded out. So I start off the same, 2 sets of brackets being multiplied together, and you'll see that what I do is I actually break apart one of the brackets, like the first one I broke apart here. The 3 ends up out the front of the second bracket, and then the other part of the first bracket, the plus x, it ends up outside of the second bracket as well. So you'll notice that this bracket here, the 3 plus x, it gets put out the front of the second bracket, which is repeated twice. Okay, that's fine. We can then multiply out those brackets like we did in the last video. We then gather our like terms. Here we've got a plus 4x and a minus 3x. So I can then turn it into 12 minus x squared. Now the convention is that we do them in order of the indices, and so it'll end up looking like this. The minus x squared minus x plus 12. Okay, so that's the distributive law. Once again, we take the first bracket, we distribute each of the terms in front of that second bracket, and we work from that and go from there. Okay, there is actually another way that we could do this, another method as well, but it's probably the method that I prefer, and I think you'll find that it's the easiest, and that's the FOIL method. Now, you'll notice I haven't actually drawn this one out because I'll do that live. I'll do it right now as we're working here. Okay, so the FOIL method is a method of making sure that we don't miss anything as we're multiplying stuff out. So the F stands for first. So identify the first term in each of the brackets, here and here. And then we multiply those 2 terms together. So A times C will be AC. Done. Then I do my O. The O stands for outside. So, well, actually, you know what? Let's pick a different colour so that we have nice colours everywhere. I identify my outside terms. So outside will be the A and the D. They're my outside terms. So I will take this A and I will multiply it by this D. And I will have plus AD. It's all going swimmingly. I like it. Let's go with the I. Stands for inside. So let's find our inside terms. Well, it'll be this B and this C. So I will multiply these 2 terms together. I will then have plus BC, and you may have guessed what the L stands for. I'm going to have to shift my screen so you can see it a little bit, but it stands for last. So what are the last terms? Well, in each of the brackets, my last term will be this B and this D, and I will then multiply those together, and I will get plus BD. And you can see that I have the answer that I got when I used the distributive option before. AC plus AD plus BC plus BD. I prefer this way because it helps me not get lost, I don't lose anything, and it makes sense to me. You can use both ways, and I'd practice both ways, but I would get good at the FOIL method because it's the better way of doing things. So let's put it into actual practice, and we'll do it for a real example or two. Okay, so let's go. Here we have x minus 5 in a bracket being multiplied by x plus 3 in a bracket. So I'll do my firsts, and I'll end up with x squared. I'll do my outsides, which will be an x multiplied by a plus 3, and I will get plus 3x. I will then do my insides, negative 5 times x, which will be negative 5x. I will then do my negative 5 and my positive 3, my last terms, and I will get negative 15. I then gather my like terms. I have some like terms. I've got plus 3x minus 5x. So I'm going to end up with x squared minus 2x minus 15. Okay, so easy. We'll do one more, and I'll get you to pause the video and attempt it for yourself before I give you the answer. So there you go. You can pause it. And now I'll do the answer. I'll work it out. Here we go. So my first terms, this will be 2x times 2x. So this will be 4x squared plus my outside terms. So 2x times positive 3, which will be 6x. My inside terms, which will be positive 2 times 2x, which will be 4x. And then my last terms, 3 times 2, which will be plus 6. Gather my like terms, and I'll end up with 4x squared plus 10x plus 6. So there you go. That's how you multiply out pairs of brackets.